It's crunch time, and everybody can feel that. Questions about whether this is a calm before the storm, or this is a point before it gets even better for everyone in the country. We're yet to find out, but we can take a peek, at least, into the coming days to know, perhaps, what the weather holds. And this morning we have joining us on the program to give an insight into what to expect in the coming days, Mr. Auwal Ibrahim Musa, who is Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, the Chairman, Board of Trustees, Amnesty International, Nigeria, and Head, Transparency International, Nigeria. Mr. Ibrahim Musa, welcome to the Morning Brief.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers.
Well, we started off the show by, just taking a critical look at strategy, goal setting, and I think it's a fair place to begin this conversation with you. And this is for the side of prospective protesters, whether or not the goal that they have is smart, in the sense that, is it specific, is it measurable, is it achievable, is it relevant and time bound? Those are the factors that will decide whether or not this goal they have in mind will be achieved, will be successful, and will give us a better nation at large. So I'd like us to begin from there in terms of goal setting and the strategy. Do you see enough? What else would you like to see, Mr. Musa?
Thank you very much. In my opinion, the protest has already, succeeded in the sense that as a result of clerical call and, legitimate demands by Nigerians for government to sit up and block the leakages, ensure that the country economic deterioration is addressed, ensure that the killings and kidnapping that has been going on without much attention from government to rescue and protect the students is one key that made people to say, look, we have to do something because Nigeria must be alive before any other things. And then also for the fact that government and even the security agencies themselves have shielded from the initial threat of, almost saying, come out, we will eliminate you. Now you're hearing, the security, they themselves too saying that, okay, you should do the same, but do it in a particular area and this, that, and that. And for the fact that the president, who at the initial stage were more of like adamant on some of these issues and demands that the protesters are making, now you hear that government is making so many commitments. This is what was expected even before this tension and build up to this. Let government listen to the people. Let government take practical steps to ameliorate the suffering that Nigerians are going through, which is not a natural disaster. You can imagine if Nigeria is tested with natural disaster, how are we going to overcome it? But these are all artificial problems caused by some wicked, unpatriotic public officials, because if you continue to sabotage laws that you are supposed to be protecting, engaging in a monumental looting. You just had the Interpol saying that every hour, dollars, hundreds of dollars are disappearing or are laundered, from the country. This is what we have been talking about. You hear that people are purchasing Nigerians. They kidnap them. They will be trading with them, and nobody is bothered to trace them. Nobody is able with this modern technology to find out who are these people. And you hear that government say that they have the names of people who are financing terrorism, and nobody is arrested. Nobody is, asked to account for all the criminalities they have been doing. That is why Nigerians are angry. That is why Nigerians are not happy. And then suddenly you remove all the subsidies everywhere in the world. Do you have one form of subsidy or the other? You removed electricity, you increase electricity tariff, you increase petroleum product, you increase virtually everything, and some of the agencies that have nothing to do with the revenue, they have become revenue generating, and nobody is accounting for all that thing. These are the things that, really made Nigerians to be angry with the system. It's not necessarily just about only one government. It is a continuous recklessness by public official. But government is government, and the current government came and added more things that made Nigerians to be unhappy. Look at $90 billion, $90 billion that was allocated for so-called Hajj. The pilgrimage, many of them were not even elected. No, any pilgrimage was given the necessary treatment that is supposed to, get in Saudi Arabia, and nobody has accounted for that money. How can we continue with this kind of, looting and extravagancy? And Nigerians are hungry, no job. Manufacturers are closing down, leaving Nigeria. Even local businesses are being sabotaged. How can we continue to run a country like this? At international level, we are being disrespected. Look, we have duty and responsibility. Even those people who have been hired to come and, rubbish the legitimate concern of Nigerians, they should remember that they themselves too, they have families. Not all of them in their family are lucky to have access to government money or protection. So it is for the betterment of our country, and it is important that both the citizens and the government work together to rescue the country, because this is the only country we have. Even if you japa, even if you travel abroad, even if you get second passport, you are still not like fulfilled person. So for me, honestly speaking, government should sit down and say, okay, in the interim, this is what we are doing. In the medium time, this is what we are going to do. And in the larger time, this is what we are going to do. Not bullying, not attacking, not insulting, not using public taxpayers' money to engage some pestilence groups to say that they are doing protests against the protest. All these are not lasting solutions. Let us be sincere. If our government is sincere, honestly speaking, Nigerians are patient, they are tolerant, they can actually understand and appreciate. But when you are bullying people, you are insulting them, at the same time, you are still, creating opportunity for looting, stealing, creating insecurity, artificial insecurity, just to justify why you are taking, public taxpayers' money. I don't think it is the solution. So I am happy that, to a large extent, government now is listening, and I hope it is a sincere listening with a durable solution, not just to, suppress the protest. Because this protest, I can tell you that this one is even good because it's organized by some people. Let us not pray for the one that we do not know how to control it, But I believe that with the government being honest and sincere and being committed to ensuring that they block leakages, because ultimately, if looting and stealing and reckless spending continues, and you continue to mock the citizen, put them in a more, terrible situation, definitely this tension cannot go. But I hope that government will sit down and do something.
Yeah, indeed, Mr. Rafsanjani, the atmosphere is tense, and some would say that, constitutionally, government also reserves the powers to, lighten the burden and bring about ease. But speaking of what government is able to do, it had, ahead of this protest, called on the protesters, first of all, to identify themselves, and then they identified themselves, and then it asked that they articulated their demands. And we heard one of the leaders yesterday, enumerating some of their demands. But just to mention a few of them, return electricity tariff to pre-May 29 levels, return fuel subsidy or return petrol price to pre-May 29 levels. And of course, one of the demands that escapes me at this point, but if I remember, I'll put it across before the end of this question. But how realistic are those demands, Mr. Rafsanjani, in the light of the current economic realities?
Okay, first and foremost, I don't think this protest is about some few groups of people. I think virtually every Nigerian is protesting, including you, my sister. You may not come out to say you are protesting to come to the street, but definitely you are feeling the pains of the economic hardship, the sense of insecurity in the country, and the sense of bastardization of our, public institutions. So virtually every Nigerian in one way or the other is feeling, the pain on how our country is governed. The cost of governance in this country is ridiculous. So it is not just about the people who are coming to do protests on the street. I think this protest is in many forms. There are some people who will want to come out physically to identify themselves. There are some other Nigerians who they are feeling the pain and they are talking about it. Every day you move around communities, you hear people are not happy, they are angry, they are not happy, with the way things are happening. So I don't think it is just these few people who want to do, who say that they are the leaders. I then think it is only, this protest is restricted to only people who are coming to do that. Let me tell you, everywhere you go, including even the police, do you know that some of the police people, their living condition is so terrible? So they may not come out and protest, but they are complaining inside them. They are not happy. The same thing with the army. Even the chief of army staff came to tell the whole world that the army are underpaid. And they are human beings, they are Nigerians, they go to the same market. So there are many forms of dissatisfaction that people are expressing. It's just that this one, they choose to say they want to come out as they are, guaranteed by the Constitution to come out and march. Maybe that is the best way government to attend to them or to listen to them. Otherwise, many Nigerians, in one way or the other, they are protesting, they are not happy. That's the truth, Now, regarding how do we, reverse some of these things? Look, the government said that the saving they are making for the subsidy, they are providing it to the state governors. I tell you, go to every state in Nigeria. Almost, I can tell you that those money provided by the federal government to the state governors are not judiciously utilized to address these gaps or these, challenges that Nigerians are facing. Now, if you have that money and you are just, recklessly spending it, you can as well reverse it back to address the fundamental thing that every Nigerian can benefit. We have seen this reversal by Yar'Adua. Did the country collapse when Yar'Adua reduced back the petroleum product, price? No. In fact, Nigeria was moving. So our problem is not really about subsidizing, for the citizens. It is the looting, the stealing that is going on regular basis everywhere in government now. People mindset is, how do I, corner XYZ? We cannot continue to run a country like that. And then you expect the citizens who are at the end of the day suffering from even what to eat to keep quiet. I think for me, Nigerians have been very patient, not just for Tinubu administration, but for the subsequent regime that happened, because they are following the same pattern of emasculating the citizens, creating policies that are completely very harsh and hard, and they don't even comply with it by themselves. So for me, honestly speaking, there are tangible things that can happen. The government can do a lot to ease this trouble. Farmers can no longer go to farms to farm, and that is why a lot of commodities, a lot of agricultural products are also very expensive, because the farmers cannot go because of the insecurity, because terrorists have decided to block them from going. And every now and then, you have a lot of things that government want to do. Before the thing gets to the people, the money has been stolen. Like, I just give you the example of this money that the government, budgeted 90 billion. Let them come and account what they have done. Who have they supported? So we cannot be taking all this kind of huge amount of money in a country where you have scarcity of the resources. You continue to borrow from the World Bank, from the IMF and other financial institutions.
All right.
And nobody is seeing what you are doing with it.
All right. The beauty of the ideal core democracy is the fact that it allows for both, for and against in any conversation. In fact, it allows for freedom of thought. So everybody has a valid point. The protesters were saying, we want to protest, they have valid point. The people are saying it's not necessary to protest, give the government a chance, they have a valid point. The government who is saying this can be hijacked, they have a valid point. People are seeing it through the prism of the people. The people who are seeing it through the prism of what do you call it? The people who are seeing it through the prism of politics, ethnicity, objectivity, whichever, however you want to look at it. Democracy allows everybody to have their say, but it's like they say in democracy, a majority will have their way. So let's see how we can aggregate everybody's interest. The people that are for and against, as well as the government in charge who are saying, give us more time. So let's speak to two issues from the conversation we had that ensued between the IGP and some senior advocates and other interest group, which has to do with them saying, we don't have enough boots on the ground. Could you do your protest, which is within your right, to say, let's confine you to some locations where we have control over? I want you to speak to that. Is that not a fair deal from the side of the government to at least manage what could spiral out of control if it's not properly managed?
Yeah, first and foremost, I commend the security agencies for realizing that they cannot even suppress or stop, Nigerians from expressing their grievances, which the security themselves, they are also not happy. I tell you, they are Nigerians, they go to the same market, how much do they earn? An average officer, how much do he see is his income? So all of us were in the same, trouble in this country. And it's just that some people have the ability, to speak out about these issues and demonstrate their, not satisfaction in satisfactory, conduct on how things are done in the country. But I tell you, average, even security officers, they are all suffering. They are suffering. So it's not exclusively for only people who say that they are coming out to protest. If you look at the number of Nigerians, we are 250 million people. How many of these, people who are going to beat their chest to come out? In every society, in every situation, you have some people who are courageous to speak on behalf of others. And these people who say they are coming out to do this, I believe that they speak the minds of many millions of Nigerians who are not able to physically come out, some because of health challenge, some because of fear of victimization, some because of also, probably, their decision to say, let me continue to express my anger internally or within the space that I have. But you see, the problem we have is that even those who are just using their own space to talk, people are arresting them even before the protest. Do you know how many Nigerians have been arrested simply because they say they want to be part of the protest? These are the things that we are saying. So stop emasculating and dehumanizing, and continue to maltreat Nigerians for expressing their anger over the suffering they are going through. However, I think, like I said, it's a huge, success for the security to realize that they didn't even have the manpower to come and kill everybody or to come and brutalize everybody. So for me, already the protest has succeeded for the fact that from saying that you must not do the protest, we will deal with you when you come out, to now saying that, okay, you can do the protest in, a particular area. So for me, already, the protest has succeeded. It has registered the grudges and grievances to the government. Before, if they block Tinubu from hearing that Nigerians are suffering, Nigerians are dying, at least now, the situation has escalated that, Tinubu is hearing and is even appealing. So for me, we have already, as Nigerians, collectively, we have succeeded in getting government to know the situation that, Nigerians are going through. Right. The second thing is to get the government to be honest and sincere and bring in durable solutions. I think for me, these are the things that, I see with this development.
So Nigerians want to see the actions. They want to see all of that empathy that they have not seen in the past. And they always say, that is a no-brainer. Governance is not rocket science. If it were, then Nigerians would have millions of people in the moon, but clearly we do not. So it's not rocket science, it's quite simple. But we'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Auwal Ibrahim Musa, Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLEC, also Chairman, Board of Trustees of Amnesty International Nigeria, and Head, Transparency International Nigeria. Thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you very much.
We'll take a moment now, and when we return, we'll bring you another perspective to this call for protest, which Mr. Rafsanjani says is successful already. That's the government side. Stay with us.